Good morning, Keystone and friends. So good to just be able to share with you this morning. I'm sure many of us, last week was quite an emotional week, watching so much of the unrest and devastation that just unraveled. And now some of those emotions are just coming back to a normal level. Some of the adrenaline is wearing off, and now we're kind of looking as to how do we move forward with life. And for many of us, we're just thinking around our own headspace, our own families, which is normal. But we as the church are actually called to engage with society. Many people at this time are asking, where's God? And sometimes the real question is where are the people of God at a time like this? And we believe as the church, the people of God, is that we have a significant part to play in helping restore and repair some of the damage that has been caused in our nation. So we as Keystone, we want to get on board with what God calls us to do and be involved where we can to seek the opportunities that God puts in place of us and to be faithful with the opportunities that He gives us and the privilege of being able to serve and play a part in the repair and the restoration of some of the devastation that has taken place. We at Keystone have some strong relationships within the SOWETO community, which is quite badly hit through this unrest that unraveled last week. Victory Celebration Church, the leader there, Donovan, we've been in contact with him just to understand some of the dynamics and issues that they face in their lives. It's very different to our world here. See, many of the folk there, they live on a daily wage. They walk to the shops and they buy their food on a daily basis. They don't have much refrigeration and storage. And so the resources that they have in their homes only last them for a few days. The issue is that the shops that service them, particularly the one in these communities, which is approximately 35,000 people that it services, the shop right there, was totally ransacked and looted. We spoke to the owner there. It's only going to be functional and operating again in about 4 weeks or so. So the problem is these folk need to now spend the money that they would ordinarily spend to buy their daily food. They now need to travel quite far to be able to buy resources, and faced with a really tricky situation because they're now spending the money on transport that they would ordinarily use on food, creating an economic problem for them. So we at Keystone, partnering with Victory Celebration Church in Soweto, and Donovan and his team are going to put a container on a site which we've secured. And in this container, we're going to resource it with food, which the church will then supply and sell to the community at a discounted rate, enabling people just to spend the funds that they would ordinarily spend on food and not have to spend further funds on transport. So this container is going to be dropped in Soweto on Thursday. It will be there for approximately 1 month, helping this community. But how can we as Keystoners, as the church, play a part and get involved with a project like this? Well, number one is we're going to have deliveries going out 2 or 3 times a week. And if you want to get some feet on the ground, you're more than welcome to tag along on one of those deliveries to see what's actually happening on the ground there and play a part there. Every Thursday evening, number 2, is life groups. A life group within our church is going to be responsible for putting together the food for a soup evening. That will happen there every Thursday. So that will mean pockets of potatoes and various other ingredients that will be put together and delivered to ladies in the church who will make the soup there. And there'll be bread as well, which we'll give out to the community every Thursday evening. It will be in a very well-managed environment because we're still aware of the COVID threat that is around. And so if you want to be part of that and one of the life groups that are going to put together these ingredients that will get distributed out there, or if you want to go out there on one of those evenings, please just get in touch with us. And certainly you're more than welcome to go out there and help distribute the soup and bread to the community. Thirdly, we want to collect Bibles and blankets. So if you have some Bibles, some spare Bibles on your shelf that are just collecting dust, won't you get them out get in touch with us. We'll put up an email at the end of the day, or a WhatsApp, or a number for you to get in touch with us with, that we can collect these Bibles, that on these evenings we can start to hand out Bibles and spread the word of God to people who are in need of hope. Also, with that, is if you could collect any spare blankets or buy some blankets. It is freezing at the moment, and we're going to have another very cold spell coming up. And so blankets would be most welcome, which we'd hand out with the soup on those evenings. So you can partner with a life group and get ingredients together. You can get your feet on the ground on one of those Thursday evenings. You can collect some old Bibles that are around on your bookshelves, and you can get some blankets. And lastly, what you can do is you can give financially into the church. What you'll need to do is just give into the church account. The details will come up on the screen, but please make sure that your reference is just SOWETO Relief, so that we know where to allocate those funds to. Going further from that, long term, as we have this container there, and this is where some others might want to be involved and put their business skills into play, is we're going to convert this container, because the ShopRite will be open and functional again in a month. But the container that we put there is we're actually going to convert it into a literacy center, a reading center, teaching young kids between the ages of 4 and 14 to read. There's a program which has just been initiated there, but we're actually going to run it out of this container. And there are many small businesses which we're going to identify that have been completely destroyed. These businesses need to start up again. So as we get our feet on the ground in the next few months, we'll start to identify with Victory Celebration Church community members that have totally lost their business and need to restart. And so we're going to connect together some of our business folk with them and actually help them get their businesses off the ground again. So those are two long-term projects, the Literacy Reading Center and a small business development way in which we can help people and connect business folk in our community with them and actually get them off the ground again. So that is how we're going to begin to play our part. We hope that you can all climb on board with this, and we're so looking forward to the next 4 months or 4 weeks as we engage with the Soweto community. What a privilege and what an honor it is to be able to serve God in such a way, and to take the resources that He has given us and to faithfully steward that to empower others. Stay safe, friends, and we look forward to chatting soon. Bye for now.